What's going on, guys? It's the Bigs Podcast, episode number 192, and this is going to be the Week 11 review. I almost forgot what week it was. With me tonight from Denver, Colorado, Jason Ashby. Jason, how you doing tonight, my friend?
I'm doing fantastic. It's another start of another crazy week. The end of a great week for me. I'm happy with how that week turned out. Week 11 was fun. And yeah, it's my birthday week, so I'm feeling good.
Happy birthday to you this week, my friend. How old are you turning?
29.
29 once again.
Yes.
Happy birthday to you, my friend. Let's dive into this thing and kick this thing off with our commissioner who continues to top the league. He is 31 games over 500. He hasn't lost in 7 straight weeks. And here we are living in Benji's world. He gets a 16-5 victory this week over Mike Sherman. Ben untied all 4 tied categories on Sunday. It was 12-5 going in. It ends 16-5. He unties doubles, steals, walks by a pitcher, and relief appearances, all in his favor. Congratulations, Benji.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
You ran the gauntlet there, my friend.
Yeah.
So close categories this week. Ben wins by a double, a steal, 2/3 of an inning, 3 wins, a loss, a save, 3 walks by a pitcher, 3 ticks on the whip, and 2 relief appearances. That is 9 close categories out of the 16 that he had.
It is unbelievable. Unbelievable. And I'm facing this guy this week, and I'm like already shitting my pants.
Yeah. Yeah, he's pretty unstoppable right now, and his schedule is pretty favorable. We'll talk about that here after we break this thing down. So
Yep.
Sherman's close categories: he wins by 2 triples, an error, and 2 home runs given up by a pitcher. They did not tie in anything. For Ben on his bench, he went 14 for 39. That's a 359 batting average, 10 runs, 2 doubles, 3 homers, 7 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, 7 walks, 5 strikeouts, and 2 errors. And guess what? None of it plays.
None of it played. Not a single one.
Not a single bit of that will play.
Just an absolute, just flat
This
out.
was a masterclass. This was
Exactly.
his,
Yeah.
welcome to Ben's TED Talk. Like, this is how you beat somebody.
Yeah. This is how you play the game.
9 ads used this week. He started off with Dean Kramer, 7-inning loss against Detroit in relief with 8 strikeouts. It wasn't a terrible stream, and getting the relief appearance out of it certainly helped.
Yeah, and there seems to be a trend that's growing even more and more this year. These guys, with openers, and then these guys going like then the next 6 or 7 innings. So, definitely a strategy there.
We may very well be seeing it tonight in Los Angeles when Ohtani takes the mound as the opener and Ben Gasparius comes in behind him.
Yep.
Moving on, Ryan Stanek came in for a horrible relief appearance. Mitchell Parker was terrible, 3 1/3, a 16-20 against Miami. Charlie Morton, 5-inning win, no earned against the Angels, and Kyle Manzardo 0 for 4 with a strikeout. He added Tanner Banks for a bad relief appearance, Anthony Bender for a terrible relief appearance, and Nolan Jones 2 for 3 with a double, an RBI, a steal, and a walk. What?
Yeah.
Gets Nolan Jones to work?
Yeah, the guy that I was in love with last year and just completely fell on his face. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, the guy that Cleveland's looking to replace at the deadline this year. Like, this is... And on top of it, he also added Mike Yastrzemski, 2 for 3 with a run, a walk, and a strikeout. So used all 9 ads and was all over it. Everything seemed to be working. His MVP this week goes to Brandon Nimmo, who was pretty nice for our Metsies. 400 with a 471, 5 runs, 3 homers, 3 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Nimmo on the season is starting to heat up, buddy.
Yeah, he is. And he's, which is great because, like, as long as he's getting hot, Soto's going to get up. Alonso's there, and having him there in the middle of that is great.
Yeah, makes a nice lefty-righty dynamic in the lineup, and he's hitting 244 right now with 13 bombs, 39 RBIs, 34 runs scored. He's right on pace for like 80-80.
Yeah, Yeah, and he can at least he can definitely get 20 home runs.
Hmm.
I'd like to see maybe more of a 260 average out of him, but like this is fine.
Yeah, and he's well on his way.
Yeah,
The least valuable hitter is Carlos Santana, 182 with a 217 on base, 2 runs, a homer, 5 RBIs, a walk, and 4 strikeouts. This guy was tearing the cover off the ball for a while. I think he had a 14-game hitting streak going at one point this season.
yeah.
And he's the first baseman of this team right now with Harper down.
Yeah, I mean, he did just pick up Jake Cronenworth to kind of fill that hole a little bit too, but I mean, look for the week, like I mean, there really wasn't a weak link in this offense. I mean, he hit what 330 with a 394 on base, so like
Yeah,
I mean, even Santana, he had 5 RBIs and a homer, so like it wasn't like he did nothing. Everybody did kind of did something here.
absolutely. He was absolutely mashing the ball. And on Saturday and Sunday, he was just masterfully pulling dudes out of his lineup a little bit here and there just
Yeah.
to make sure that the on base percentage was going to be his.
Yep.
His Cy Young this week goes to Ranger Suarez. 7 innings, a win, a walk, 6 strikeouts, nothing earned in an 0.71. And his Cy Young goes to Mitchell Parker, whom we talked about during his moves. For Sherman on his bench this week, he goes 14 for 58. That's a 241 batting average with 10 runs that would have won the category, 3 doubles that would have won the category, a triple, a homer, 10 RBIs, a steal that would have tied the category, 3 walks, and 17 strikeouts. He also could have had innings pitched if he plays Andrew Abbott on a complete game shutout on Tuesday.
Yeah, I forget I forget who that was against. But I wonder if like that was planned or mistake. That was it was in Cleveland, so
Hmm.
like that's seems like a decent start.
Yeah, I mean it's Tuesday. Maybe you don't want to do it because it's early in the week. I don't know, but I mean this
Yeah,
kid threw a real gem there, and missed it.
yeah,
Yeah, Mike really missed it. He didn't make a move this week. He just dropped Brady Singer.
that was it.
That's the only thing we got this week. Hunter Goodman is going to be his MVP this week. Unfortunately, he had 10 strikeouts, a 320 batting average, and on base with 5 runs, 2 doubles, a triple, a homer, 3 RBIs, and again, the 10 big strikeouts. The least valuable hitter could go to a bunch of guys here. Cody Bellinger hit 150 with 2 strikeouts. Jaron Duran had 9 strikeouts with a 158 average. Jake Berger hit 125.
Yeah, I
Bunch of
mean
dudes.
Tyler Soderstrom hit 167. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was a rough week. Josh Young wasn't very good either. There's a few guys that kind of didn't do a whole lot here.
Yeah, and he only hit 220 with 3 homers. So it's not as if the offense was doing much that we notice that we
Yeah.
overlooked something here.
Yeah, which is it's interesting because I feel like there have been weeks where this offense just absolutely clicks.
Mm-hmm.
It just
Mm-hmm.
wasn't this week, and this is when he
Yep.
needed it.
Yeah, he really did. The Cy Young this week goes to Spencer Schwellenbach. 9 inning complete game win, a bomb, 9 strikeouts, a 2 ERA, and an 0.56. I think that came in Milwaukee. Was that right?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Yeah. Very nice start against the Brewers there for Mr. Schwellenbach. The Cy Young rather goes to Dustin May. 11 innings, a win, 8 walks, 4 strikeouts, a 655 and a 182. Dustin May could have gotten him innings if he had gone one more on Sunday night, but alas, he got pulled after I think it was 6.
6 innings. Yep. Yeah, it was a good start, but the walks. I mean, 4 walks to 3 strikeouts, and then the previous start was 4 walks to 1 strikeout. Not very great ratios.
Yeah. Sherman is back to 500. He's in, I think it's ninth place right now, but he's still in this fight. This big loss does hurt him quite a bit here in the standings, but he's got quite an interesting schedule upcoming. He's got Bobby, then Lebo, then Josh, and then Josh and Mike back to back as that dual
That's
threat.
that's that's so rough going from
Dude, I'm
heyday.
in it right now. I just finished with Josh, and I've got Mike right now. Like I'm
Yeah,
in it.
that's like uh yeah, it's like going through Yeah, so that's going through a gauntlet. That's going through the teeth.
Yeah. And Sherman's in it right now. He's lost his last two, but he won his previous four before that. So, I mean, he's certainly in this fight. He can definitely take care of business against Bobby and Lebo before facing off with the Havers here.
Yeah, yeah. If he does that, gets himself in a nice position to at least mitigate something out of those two matchups.
And as for Ben, he's got you this week, and then it's Ari, Levy, Costas, Bobby, and Lebo in the next 5 weeks. He could really extend this lead if he buckles
It,
down and continues to this roll.
if everything falls in his favor, he could lock this thing up.
Yeah. He could lock up first place and look like and have the Habers playing him in week 17 and 18 essentially for very little.
Right, right. To not really matter. I mean, even if like they were to somehow knock him out of first place, like by then he should have locked up a playoff spot. So
You
like,
think?
yeah.
You
So
think?
those matchups will mean more for the Habers than they will for Ben.
All of these matchups are meaning more for the guy that Ben is
Yeah,
playing. So if Ben can just hold serve and not get blown out, I think he's going to get a playoff spot here. I think it's starting to become safe at 31 games over 500.
yeah, I think so.
All right, let's move on to our next matchup, which is going to be my matchup with Josh Haber this week. What a dog fight we had, man. What an absolute just knockdown, drag out. And at the end of the week, congratulations, Josh. You took me down 11-8. The only thing that changed on Sunday, Josh flipped innings pitched, so it was 10-9 going in, 11-8 going out. I could have fought him for it, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to break down the team, or B,
Mhm.
throw somebody to ruin that really nice 286 ERA.
Sure. Yep.
So not doing that. Close categories this week. Josh wins by an error, 2 saves, and 3 relief appearances. I win by a walk by a pitcher and 2 wins. I'm sorry, a walk by a batter and 2 wins. And we tied in triples and home runs by a hitter. It was really annoying. Tommy Edman won me that category on Sunday night, and then Andy Pajes tied it back up. And I was like, God damn it.
See, you gotta have all the Dodgers.
I have to have all the Dodgers. I got to trade for Pajes. Seriously, Josh. I'm serious about that. On my bench, or on Josh's bench this week, he went 6 for 30. That's a 200 batting average with 4 RBIs, 3 stolen bases, a walk that would have tied the category, and 8 strikeouts. The walk came on Tuesday. It was a 1 for 4. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, at the time, who knew?
Yeah. Only 3 ads this week. He added Chase Burns, Blake Trinan, who are NA and IL available, respectively, and then added Max Muncy, not the guy on my team, but the guy on the Athletics, for an 0 for 4 with a strikeout.
I just think it's cute that Max Muncy and Max Muncy face each other this week.
Yeah, and only on Sunday.
Oh, that's Sunday, yeah, but still, kind of a cute little thing.
Yeah. Jose Altuve is going to be his MVP this week. Altuve, 429 with a 500 on base percentage, 4 runs, 4 doubles, a homer, 6 RBIs, a steal, 2 walks, and only 1 strikeout. The guy was annoying. Every time I looked up, he had another extra base hit.
Yeah, and he just keeps on going. Like there's just no stopping Jose Altuve.
No. 274, 10 homers, 30 RBIs, 33 runs scored, and chipped in 6 steals. Well on his way to another very solid season on what I think is going to be a Hall of Fame career.
I think so. I mean, he's definitely on the highway.
Mm-hmm. The least valuable hitter this week is going to be Matt Shaw. 091 with a 130 on base percentage with a walk and 6 strikeouts. That's not going to cut it.
Yeah. When this kid came back from AAA, he was kind of hitting a little bit, and he's kind of now just fizzled back out again.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see what the Cubs do and what Josh does with him.
Yeah, I mean, Josh doesn't necessarily need this kid unless he's playing third base every day, but that's perhaps a spot for Addison Barger. I mean,
yeah, I mean that seems to be the hole in this team right now. He tried to, he had Mac Muncy, now he's got Barger, Shaw. It seems like the third base is kind of a iffy spot.
Yeah. The Cy Young this week goes to Garrett Whitlock. Unfortunately, I had him on my team and dropped him.
Ditto.
Yep, 4 2/3 with a win, a save, 6 strikeouts, nothing earned, and a no whip. He did not get a base runner on base in his 3 relief appearances across 4 2/3. That's pretty nasty.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he was ugly earlier in the season, but he has been lights out over the last month or so.
Mm-hmm. And the Cy Yuck goes to Brian Wu. 6 innings, a loss, 2 homers, a walk, 3 strikeouts, a 750, and a 133. This kid's pretty damn good. I had him as a breakout this year, and he's been quite nice for Josh this year. 3.39 and a sub 1 whip across 82 innings.
Yeah, yeah. At a point where the Mariners' rotation has kind of been littered with injuries, he's become kind of the stabilizing force there.
No doubt. No doubt. And he gets Boston here tomorrow, so it'll be interesting to see what he does at home against Boston.
Yep.
For me on my bench this week, I went 3 for 15, which is also a 200 batting average. So we each hit 200 on our bench. Good job.
Yeah, I love it.
2 runs, a home run that would have won the category, 3 RBIs, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. The home run comes on Tuesday. It's Spencer Torkelson versus Isaac Paredes. It's the trio of players that I'm going to be moving around in and out of the utility and third base all year. Okay, I missed one.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Shit
It happens to
happens.
all of us.
Shit happens. 7 used ads this week. I added Jack Dreyer for a clean relief appearance, Sean Dubin for a clean relief appearance, Ryan Gusto, 6-inning win, 2 earned runs and 7 strikeouts against the White Sox. Yenier Cano for a clean relief appearance. Luis Severino, 7 2/3, a win, 2 walks, 1 strikeout, a 117 and a 104 in Kansas City. That's right. I have big balls to start Severino.
Yeah, I thought I did too, and he shit the bed. So I'm like, fuck this guy. And then you go ahead and take him, and he pitches a gem, although only 1 strikeout. It's kind of weird.
Just go look at his home road splits. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I
Look at his home
guess.
road splits. It's
I
pretty
think
ridiculous.
I think when I threw him, he was out. He was on the road, and he sucked.
Finished it off with John Schreiber for an ugly relief appearance and Jacob Junis for a clean relief appearance. My MVP this week, welcome back, Ronald Acuna. We've missed you quite a bit here, and I'm glad that he's hitting again. 619 with a 692 on base percentage. 8 runs, a double, 3 homers, 6 RBIs, a steal, 5 walks, and a strikeout. All right.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Yeah, I mean, he literally had to hit every game and multiple hits most games this week. He was just unstoppable.
Yeah, he's been their whole offense, though, because Acuna, or I'm sorry, Harris and Ozuna and Murphy well, Murphy hit this week, but Drake Baldwin
Yeah.
didn't.
No, 077. But let's not wait till Sleeping Bear because the Mets are visiting Atlanta this week, and I'd like to keep it that
Yeah,
way.
and we just got swept by the Rays, so I'd like to get a couple of wins there and like keep our
Yeah,
lead.
we got the Braves twice in 2 weeks in a week, sandwiched around the Phillies. So it's gonna be a tough stretch.
Yeah. My least valuable hitter goes to Hyesung Kim, 222 with a 300 on base, although it could go to Spencer Torkelson because I didn't get the homer in the lineup. It could have gone to Drake Baldwin. Couple of guys didn't hit this week, but I was able to get away with averaging on base with a 280 and a 379.
Yeah, the on base because even like Mookie didn't hit, but he walked 5 times. So the on base really helped you this week.
No doubt. Carried me this week. The Cy Young goes to David Peterson and his complete game shutout. That's right. 9 innings, a win, 6 strikeouts, nothing earned, and an 0.67. Really needed that this week. And the Mets really need him to be doing what he's been doing here in the first half.
Yeah, especially now with Senga out. This is the guy right now. Yeah.
No doubt. The Cy Yuck goes to Jose Ferrer. Last week I said he's probably going to stick around on the team for a while. They do have a series against Colorado that I'm just going to hold on to him for, and then he's probably gone. 2 1/3 with a 19.29 stock market crash of an ERA over 3 relief appearances. 3 strikeouts, only 2 walks. Didn't give up a bomb, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
But the one of the better appearances against the Marlins, so there's that.
The other one was against our Mets.
So that worked out.
Yeah, no, it's just one of those things. Uh, I think both of us are going to be there for quite a while. I mean, we're not going anywhere. We're in the top four. We're both well over 500. As for Josh, his next few weeks here, he gets Adam, Henry, Mike Sherman, and then you.
Yeah, and those are pretty winnable matchups. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's going to be on this fight for a while. If something were to happen to Ben, like he can sneak back up there. He's only 5 games out, so he's certainly not out of first place.
No doubt. No doubt. And what does my schedule look like going forward, you ask? Well, I've got Mike Haber this week, and then I get Frank. So that's going to be a really fun matchup.
Those are always fun matchups.
No doubt. Then I get Jimmy, and I get Cody, and then I get Costas. So it doesn't get easier.
No, not really.
The gauntlet is started. I've navigated my way through 2 weeks of losing to both Lebo and Josh here. I just need to stick around 500, and that's all I've ever said to anybody: is stay in 500 until the final 7 weeks, and then make your push.
Yeah, yeah, and you're well on your way.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's move on to the next matchup, which I love seeing these two guys hook up every single year. It's karmatic, shall we say? It is Henry Collins taking on Bobby Russo. Bobby takes down a solid 13-5 win this week. He really needed to answer the bell. He was starting to slip down those standings quite a bit. This gets him right back in the middle of the fight.
Yep.
Let's see. On Sunday, Henry untied doubles but struck out too many times, so he lost strikeouts by a batter. And Bobby flipped runs and on base percentage. It was 11-7 going in, comes out 13-5. Close categories this week: Henry wins by a double and an RBI. Bobby wins by 3 runs, 3 RBIs, and 3 homers, a loss, a save. And they tied in triples and strikeouts by a batter and wins. I'm afraid my internet's cutting out, and I'm actually cutting out like an retard here.
Yeah, you cut it out, man.
I'm having a minute. Henry on his bench this week, he goes 7 for 30. That's a 233 batting average with 2 runs, 3 doubles, a homer, 2 RBIs, a steal, and 8 strikeouts. The 8 strikeouts would have lost the category for him. 10 ads this week for Henry. He starts it off with Caleb Durbin 0 for 3, Danny Jansen 0 for 4 with 2 runs and a strikeout, Nick Mears for a clean relief appearance. He then adds Sawyer Gibson Long and Associates. Very nice. I like that.
Yep.
4 2/3, a no decision, 5 strikeouts, 1 earned, and a relief appearance. This is another guy that came in behind an opener.
Yeah, the Tigers are doing this a lot with this guy and Kiter Montero.
Mm-hmm. Nolan Shanuel, he added 3 for 4 with an RBI, a steal, and a walk. Justin Robleski from the Dodgers, 4 1/3, and no decision in a relief appearance. Another guy that's doing this, and it looks like Henry's targeting these guys because he did add Kiter Montero.
Mm-hmm. I tell you, this is becoming a real new strategy.
Mm-hmm. Michael Lorenzen gets added, 6 innings and a loss against the Athletics. Kumar Rocker, 5 innings, a win, 1-0 earned against the White Sox. And Jesus Sanchez 0 for 4 with a strikeout. His MVP this week goes to Geraldo Perdomo. This guy has been tearing it up for him. It feels like every week we're at least talking about this guy.
He's 333. Sneaky, under the radar kind of guy.
Yeah, 333 with a 417 on base, 5 runs, 2 doubles, a triple, 6 RBIs, 4 walks, and 3 strikeouts. What's he doing on the season?
He's at a 267 with 7 bombs, 49 RBIs, and 11 steals.
The 49 RBIs jumps off the page at me.
Yeah, especially, I mean, he's usually hitting either second or like towards the bottom of the order. He's not really a middle of the order kind of guy. So it's really impressive.
Yeah. The least valuable hitter is Christian Yelich. He was benched on Sunday when he was really good. Otherwise, he was 200 with a 250, an RBI, a walk, and 7 strikeouts. He was starting to turn it around here recently, but he's still only hitting 239 this year.
Yeah, he got banged up again at the end of or the start of last week, and he's just there's always something with this guy.
Mm-hmm. Max Fried is going to be the Cy Young this week. 14 innings, a win, a loss, 2 bombs, 2 walks, 13 strikeouts, a 2.57 and a 1. Max Fried on the season has been one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. He's got 9 wins with a 1.89 ERA. Henry's team is loaded, and I love this. Love this rotation that he's got put together here.
Yeah, him and Chris Bassett and yeah, it's really nice, really
Mm-hmm.
nice. If Kumar Rocker is something like that's gonna be great. Tyler Glass now if he comes back, like yeah, this is nasty.
Yeah, and the bullpen is absolutely filthy. He's got what 3 closers: Mason Miller, Emmanuel Clase, and now it's just the 2 of them.
Well, call it 2.5 because Matt Strom is sometimes the closer.
Okay, sometimes. The Cy Yuck goes to Michael Waka, who was decent, 5 1/3, a loss, 2 bombs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, an 8.44 and a 2.06. I think that also came against the Athletics.
It did, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, his next start is going to be in Texas, but he's been good this season. It's another nice piece in the middle of this rotation.
Yeah, he's been very good. 338 with a 123 whip. Not too bad.
And if he continues this trend of streaming these bulk relievers, he's going to do really well. I mean, these guys weren't bad for him.
Yeah. I mean, he still lost relief appearances, but only by 5. And but it helped with he pitched 77 innings with these guys. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about Bobby, who's pretty much the exact opposite here. He's gonna lean on his bullpen and he's gonna
Yep.
inch to the minimum. So this was a real chess match here. I do find it really interesting. Bobby on his bench this week went 6 for 34. That's a 176 batting average with 2 runs, 2 homers, 7 RBIs that would have won him the category, 2 steals, 2 walks, and 9 strikeouts that would have lost him that category. A lot of RBIs on the bench this week. Westberg came off the IL and drove in 3, and that wasn't in his lineup.
Yeah, that was probably the big one. I don't know if he wasn't expecting it or what, but yeah, that was probably the big one.
Yeah. I mean, Jordan Westberg is a great player, and I expect him in the lineup. He's part of the namesake of this team, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. And now that he's back and he's been on fire, we'll talk more about it, but he's
Mm-hmm.
been really good.
Yeah. Only 5 moves from Bobby this week. He added Nick Kurtz 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. Quinn Priester 6-inning win, 3 strikeouts, 1 earned, and a 150 with an 0.67 against St. Louis. Luis Ortiz, which was a waste as he was dropped before the start. Gavin Sheets 2 for 4 with a run and a walk, and Dalton Rushing, who was on the bench for the Sunday night game. His MVP this week goes to Jordan Westberg that we were just speaking of. It was a hell of a week this week. 313 with 389 on base, 4 runs, a double, 2 homers, 7 RBIs, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. The least valuable hitter goes to Logan O'Hoppe, 077 average and on base with 3 strikeouts. Is this kid doing anything this year?
What have we got? Yeah, I mean he got 14 home runs and 31 RBIs. The average is kind of poopy 231, but
Yeah.
he's showing the power.
Okay. All right. I mean, if he's a bat first catcher, then I guess, 25 homers is going to be good from him this year.
Yeah, I mean if you're getting 25 home runs from your catcher, you're feeling pretty good, I think.
Yeah. The Cy Young goes to Garrett Crochet, who was unreal. 8 1/3, a bomb, a walk, 7 strikeouts, a 108, and an 060. He's been unstoppable this year.
Yeah, that's back-to-back starts against the Yankees, and this one was much better. Even though he got the win last time, not this time, but this one he was much better.
Yeah. Yeah. The Cy Yuck goes to Robert Suarez, who has been lights out this year in the bullpen. He just had a bad week this week.
It was really just Saturday. It was one
Just
day.
the one, yeah, just the one appearance, but it was an inning and a third with a loss, a 33-75 and a 3.75 across the week in 2 relief appearances.
Yeah.
These guys are both going to be in the fight, but I do have one of them in my current top 6 that I believe will be making the playoffs. I'm not going to reveal that, and I'm not going to reveal which one I have, but the only person that does know is our commissioner, as we've had this conversation for a while. Just, hey, who you got going to the playoffs right now? Like, just pick your 6 right now. You can change it later,
Yeah.
but as for their future going forward, let's talk about their schedule. We've got Bobby's next few opponents. We've got Sherman, you, Ari, Chris Levy. That's a shot to get right.
Yeah, see, like so there's that gauntlet, right, where it's like, the Habers and Frank, but then there's like these other part of the matchup, the other part of the schedule where it's a little bit softer. And that's where Bobby's going into right now.
Mm-hmm. The problem is Bobby finishes out the schedule in the gauntlet.
Yeah, that's rough.
That is. That is. As for Henry, um, moving forward, he is going to be facing Lebo and then the Habers and then Frank. So he's
Yeah.
in it right now.
Yep.
This is an interesting part of his season. He's lost now 2 weeks in a row to Ben and to Bobby, 13-7, 13-5. He's got to get right here against Lebo.
Yeah. But then on the flip side, he finishes it off. At the end of the season, it's Adam, Costas, Sherman, and then me to finish it off. So it's not, he doesn't have the teeth that Bobby has to go through with the last 4 weeks.
That last week between you and Henry could be very, very interesting. That could be a playoff play-in game.
We shall see.
We shall. We shall. Let's move on to our next matchup here. It is going to be Mike Haber taking on Cody Pyatt. And Cody got himself a very solid win this week. I wouldn't call it an upset, but I would call it a surprising win.
Yeah, and I texted with Mike after it, and he's saying, like, if I'm gonna lose to Cody, make it be a 12-7. And look, it didn't affect Mike's place in the standings. He started in third, he ended up in third. So this was probably a bigger win for Cody than it was a loss for Mike.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. On Sunday, Cody flipped strikeouts by a pitcher. So it was 11-8 going in. It's 12-7 coming out. Congratulations, Cody, on a good, solid win. Close categories this week. Cody wins by 2 wins, a loss, and 2 walks by a pitcher. Mike wins by 2 stolen bases and an error. They tied in triples and home runs. For Cody on his bench this week, he went 6 for 27. That's a 222 batting average, 2 runs, a home run that would have won the category, an RBI, 2 RBIs, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. The homer comes on Tuesday.
Yeah, it's Wyatt Langford on the bench. 1 for 3 was his only hit of the game, solo home run. Sal Frelick didn't get a hit that day, so I guess that's the play probably right there. But
Okay.
just one of those things.
One of those things that happens when you've got a bigger bench and you've got guys that you're rotating in and out on a matchup by matchup basis. Yeah, you're going to miss some things. It happens.
Absolutely. Yep.
Cody used 10 ads this week. Jack Caglione, 1 for 4 with an RBI on the bench. Drew Pomeranz for a clean relief appearance. Enyel De Los Santos in a relief win. Shane Smith the day after he pitched, so it looks like he's just making him a piece of that rotation.
Yeah, because he didn't pitch the rest of the week.
Right. Brock Stewart for a clean relief appearance. Josh Smith, 2 for 4 with a double and an RBI. Gavin Williams for an okay start, but a no decision against Seattle. Joe Adell, 1 for 3 with a strikeout. Jeffrey Springs on the bench and Mitch Keller on the bench.
Yeah, both of those guys pitched pretty well. He didn't start. He didn't need it, so it didn't matter.
Yeah, no, he wasn't gonna win anything more than what he already had. So
right.
Yeah. His MVP this week goes to Josh Smith, surprisingly enough. He went 450 with a 542 on base, 9 runs, 3 doubles, 2 homers, 3 RBIs, 4 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Where is this dude playing?
Everywhere. And by the way, Cody picked, this was like a midweek pickup.
Mm-hmm.
and he scored 9 runs for him.
That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, from what was this? From Thursday to Sunday, he scored 9 runs.
Yeah. 3 on Thursday, 3 on Friday, 2 on Saturday, and 1 on Sunday just to chip in there.
Yeah, yeah. It's just a fire week.
Yeah,
But yeah, he's been playing all over. And he's been hitting leadoff. He's been kind of like a real, Swiss Army knife for the Rangers.
no doubt. No doubt. The least valuable hitter this week goes to Ozzy Albies. 125 with a 160, a run, an RBI, a walk, and 10 strikeouts. He's part of this annoying part of the Braves lineup that isn't really hitting this year. He's hitting 222 with 6 homers and 6 steals.
Yeah, yeah. And again, like I feel like if there's ever going to be time for this for a guy like him to wake up, it's going to be this series, but I hope not.
Hope not. Hope not. His Cy Young this week goes to Joe Ryan, who was really had to step up because of the Pablo Lopez injury, and he did so this week. 7 innings, a homer, 7 innings, no decision, homer, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, a 2.57 and an 0.57. The Cy Young goes to Yohan Duran, 2 2/3, a loss, a 6.75, a 2.25 across 3 relief appearances. Cody did pitch really well this week to a 3.57 and a 1.29 WHIP. So
Yeah. And that loss from Duran came in Joe Ryan's start.
I figured that might be related.
Yeah, yeah. So pretty ugly there, especially
Mhm.
since, like you said, Joe Ryan has stepped up and he's needed to, because without Lopez, that rotation is kind of iffy.
Yeah, no doubt. And the team itself is a little iffy. They're going to need to keep Byron Buxton healthy because he's having a really nice season. They got to keep Royce Lewis healthy in order to really
He's already on the
compete.
injured list.
Exactly. So they got to get him back.
Correa.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
This team is starting to crumble a little bit here. They didn't do a damn thing in the offseason, but lose Max Kepler. So
Yeah, yeah, and they're paying for it.
they are. They really are. As for Mike on his bench this week, he went 6 for 26. That's a 231 batting average with 5 runs, 2 doubles, 2 RBIs, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. None of it plays. However, he did bench Jesus Luzardo, and his 10 strikeouts would have, in fact, won that category for him.
Yeah, it was against the Cubs on Wednesday. Look, his last 2 starts have been absolutely atrocious, so don't really blame him for benching him against, a team like the Cubs. Unfortunately for him, the Cubs didn't hit this week, so it was kind of a double whammy.
Yeah, it does hurt. The only thing that I've heard is that Luzardo was kind of tipping his pitches in those 2 starts. So one would think that result that came against the Cubs is what's going to be going forward. Maybe not to that extreme of 10 strikeouts every start, but
better than what it was the last 2 starts.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's just a case of tipping his pitches, and he'll be okay the rest of the year.
Interesting.
He used 6 ads this week. Wandy Peralta for a relief appearance loss against the Dodgers. Chad Patrick, 5-inning loss and 5 earned runs against Atlanta. Evan Carter, 2 for 3. It's a double, a steal, and a walk. Jose Quintana, 4 1/3, a loss, a homer, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, 5 earned runs, an ERA north of 10 against St. Louis. Joe Boyle on the NA, and Mitch Spence after the bell. Thanks. You're starting Mitch Spence at home. I don't know about that.
We'll see.
There's something about Sacramento's ballpark that I think the ball is flying more there.
Okay.
Yeah. His MVP this week goes to Manny Machado. 296 with a 321 on base percentage, 3 runs, 2 doubles, 10 RBIs, a walk, 6 strikeouts, and an error. Hopefully he doesn't do that this week. That would be very
10
nice.
10 RBIs without a single home run.
Yeah. I would very much like to see less than 10 this week. that would be very nice.
Okay, we'll see.
I would like that. Bobby Witt is his least valuable hitter this week. 136 with a 174, a run, a double, an RBI, a walk, and 4 strikeouts. I'm going to guess he's going to do better than that, but Hopefully not much.
He texted me and he was like, "Yeah, when Witt, Alonso, and Pete Armstrong all hit under 200, can't win,
Can't win.
can't win that way."
No, absolutely.
And all three of them were just not good.
Yep. The Cy Young goes to Trevor McGill. 3 innings, 3 saves, 3 relief appearances, 7 strikeouts, a 3 ERA, and a 133 on the whip. Did you pick him just because there was a whole lot of threes?
Threes come in threes, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, no, he was really good. He
he
gave up
was.
one run in an outing against the Cardinals, but otherwise he's been really solid. 15 saves this year,
Mhm.
with a sub-3 ERA. He's healthy, so he's closing games for the Brewers.
And I remember Mike distinctly saying that he was toss up between this guy and Christian Yelich, and I think he picked correctly.
I think he did too.
Yeah. The Cy Yuck goes to Jack Flaherty this week. 4 2/3, a loss, 3 homers, 5 walks, 5 strikeouts, a 13.50 and a 2.14. Randy Rodriguez wasn't great in his 1 relief appearance. There were, and of course, Jose Quintana kind of blew up against St. Louis. We talked about that earlier.
Yeah, and I think in that story wasn't there drama? Didn't he like hit didn't he hit somebody and then I feel like there was drama in that game.
Hmm.
Of course he used to play for the Cardinals too.
Yeah. These guys are going to be in the fight, man. Like we just keep talking about it. Everybody is in this thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody's in this thing.
For everybody 1 through 14 is in this fight.
No doubt. No doubt. Mike's next few opponents, obviously, he's got me on the schedule right now, and then he goes against Adam, Henry, and Mike Sherman.
Mm. I like it. I like it.
Yep.
There's room here for him to make some more moves up the standings. Like he's still in this.
Yep. And Cody goes up against one of the hottest teams in the league in Frank Bucco. We'll talk about him in a minute. And then goes against Jimmy, Costas, and then myself. So this is a real make or break part of the season for Cody right here.
Yeah, because Jimmy Costas, you, Adam. Like if he can get through Jimmy Costas and you, like in a pretty good spot, then he's got some softer matchups coming up. So maybe there's room for him to stay afloat. But he's got to get through the next 3 weeks in pretty good shape.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's move on to your matchup, my friend, against Chris Levy. How do you feel coming out of your big win this week?
I feel pretty good. I knew I needed a win like this, and I got it. It was bigger at some points during the week, and I was getting a little bit worried. It got closer during the week, but I'm content with what happened. I'm now in 9th place. I feel pretty good.
Yeah, I think you're sitting right at 500, right? Oh no,
Yep,
you're 4 games over.
yep.
That's
Right
even
over
better.
400, right over 500. Me and Frank are just like right by each other.
Yeah. And on Sunday, Chris tied innings pitched, but you took strikeouts by a pitcher and untied RBIs. So it was 13-5 going in, 14-4 coming out. Good job, sir. Close categories this week. You win by 1 RBI, 1 stolen base, 4 walks by a hitter, and 3 strikeouts by a pitcher. Chris wins by 3 doubles and 4 relief appearances, and you guys tied in home runs, innings pitched, and saves. On your bench this week, you went 6 for 20. That's a 300 batting average with 2 runs, a homer, 3 RBIs, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. None of it plays.
The homer does on
Oh yeah.
yeah, it was Friday. It was Willie Adames. I had him on the bench against I think that was the Yamamoto start.
Mm-hmm. It was
the matchup, and he hit the home run.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, Yamamoto is a quality pitcher, and Adames has kind of been shit this year.
Yeah,
So,
but he's starting to get hot. He's starting to heat up a little bit. He had a series here in Colorado that may have sparked him a little bit. So we'll see.
and don't look now, they just traded for Rafael Devers, so that guy automatically gets a nice boost in the lineup.
Yes, sir.
Yep. 9 ads this week for you. You started off with David Fry over 1 with a strikeout. Sir Anthony Dominguez for a clean relief appearance. Eduardo Rodriguez, 6 1/3 in a win, 284 and a 111 on the whip against Seattle. Tyler Freeman, 1 for 3 with a run and an RBI. Yuki Matsui off of waivers. I didn't know you wanted him that bad for a clean relief appearance. CES off of waivers, 1 for 5 with 2 strikeouts. Kyle Harrison, we'll talk about in a moment. I'll let you tell the story. Cade Povich, 3 2/3, a win, a walk, 4 strikeouts, nothing earned in a relief appearance as a bulk reliever. And finish it off with Sean Jelly, who went 3 2/3 to tie to win the category. A homer, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts to win you that category. A 491 and a 136 in LA against the Dodgers.
On Sunday Night Baseball, never did I, in a million years, I think I would ever roster a guy named Sean Jelly, and we did.
Yep, and you had to. You were up against it.
Yeah. So that's the story. Kyle Harrison gets traded from the Giants to the Red Sox about 15 minutes before his start Sunday night against the Dodgers, and I'm sitting there at a Father's Day barbecue with very little internet, going, "What the fuck just happened?" And I'm like, "What do I do?" And nobody was reporting who was gonna start. It's like 5 minutes to the start of the game. I'm like, "What the hell?" And finally, I heard that Sean Jelly. I'm like, okay, I guess we're picking up Sean Jelly and hoping that he can get me something. And he got me just enough innings to tie and just enough strikeouts to win that.
Well done, man. Way to be on top of it. Way to persevere through the moment of tragedy that you lose your starting pitcher on Sunday Night Baseball.
Yeah.
Your MVP this week goes to Corbin Carroll. 192 with a 250 on base percentage, 6 runs, 2 triples, 2 homers, 4 RBIs, 2 walks, and 10 strikeouts.
Yeah, so he's also the least valuable hitter.
Yeah.
Because he was on fire the first half of the week, and then like Saturday and Sunday he just like fell asleep. But the 2 triples and the 2 homers are nice, 6 runs, but the 10 strikeouts were not fun.
No. But you won most of the offensive categories. You won most of the categories, period. So if Corbin Carroll chipped in that way, he gave you what he could, and he gave you most of these categories.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Your Cy Young this week goes to Tariq Skubal, who might be the best pitcher in baseball right now. 7 innings, a win, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, nothing earned in an 0.71. And the Cy Young goes to Aaron Bummer, who is probably off the team. 2/3 of an inning, a 13.50, and a 3 across a relief appearance. He was duty.
This was by far my best. It had to have been my best pitching week this season. I don't know that I've ever finished under a 3 ERA. So this was fun.
A 219 across 70 is really, really good, man.
With a sub-1 whip.
Yep, very, very good this week. For Levy on his bench this week, he goes 9 for 21. That's a 429 batting average. 5 runs, 3 doubles, a homer that would have won the category, 2 RBIs that would have won the category, a walk, and 4 strikeouts. He used 9 moves this week. He had a Daniel Lynch off of waivers for a clean relief appearance. Luis Ortiz for a loss against Cincinnati, gave up 4 earned runs and 4 2/3. Edward Bizardo for a clean relief appearance. Bo Brisky thrashed in a relief appearance, 5 earned runs over a third of an inning. He got killed.
Yeah, and I had this guy for a bit, and he was good for me, but not for Chris.
Not for Chris. Caleb Ort for a clean relief appearance. Jose Buto for a clean 2-inning relief appearance. Cade Gibson benched as an opener. Matt Theis was benched and did not play. And Scott Blewett was an opener against LA, and he gave up an earned run over a homer. 2 earned runs over 2 2/3. It was not good.
No, and he picked him up after I picked up Povich, who was the guy following him, and I was like, okay, fine, do that.
Yeah. The MVP and least valuable hitter is Aaron Judge this week. It's a 182 with a 217. 3 runs, 3 homers, 5 RBIs, a steal, a walk, and 14 strikeouts.
Yeah, it's amazing how this guy like carried the team and also killed the team at the same time this week.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, Austin Riley had 11 strikeouts. Pavin Smith had 10 strikeouts. Rafi Devers had 8 strikeouts and didn't play on Sunday. Like it, there was a lot of strikeouts on this team.
There was, which is incredible, like for me, because usually, I mean, I won it by what, 16?
Yeah.
Usually I'm, 50 strikeouts is usually enough for me to lose that category. But not this week.
No. Difficult to give anybody a Cy Young this week when Chris pitched to a 5.91 ERA. Not a whole lot of good performances. Maybe Jalen Beeks for his win in 3 relief appearances in 3 innings with 2 strikeouts, nothing earned.
Sure.
We'll go there.
Okay.
Okay. And the Cy Yuck goes to Griffin Canning because he blew up for us. 9 2/3, a loss, 2 homers, 7 walks, 6 strikeouts, a 9.31 and a 186.
Yeah. Thinking maybe he's the guy that's out when everybody gets healthy. I don't know.
Well, I mean, the first guy that's got to be out is Paul Blackburn, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, look, but like Griffin Canning has been pitching over his head like all season. Like
Yeah.
we've never seen him have any sustained success. So you got to figure this is, not going to be real.
I don't know. I seem to trust this pitching lab. They got it out of Severino last year. They got it out of Manaea last year. He's on his way back. Like I seem to trust this.
Yeah, I do too to an extent, but like we've seen Severino have success before, not so much from Griffin Canning. So we'll see. I'm not poo-pooing it, but I'm just saying there's a reality check.
Yeah. Okay. There may be a regression to the middle, is what you're saying.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. All right. I see what you're saying. All right. Let's move on to the next matchup, man, because you are sitting pretty in 7th place.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm happy. I'm right there in the playoff hunt. We'll see. Ben, take it easy. Take it easy on me this week.
Yeah. Just get out of there. Just get out of there over 500 still, and I think that'll be a good place for you. All right, we'll move on to the next matchup. It is Costas taking on Ari, and Costas gets himself a 12-8 win this week. On Sunday, Costas flipped batting average, so it was 11-9 going in and 12-8 coming out. Close categories this week, Costas wins by 2 home runs, 3 strikeouts, 2 ticks on the batting average, and .0007 on the whip.
Yeah, really close on the whip.
Very close on the whip. Ari wins by 2 runs, 3 stolen bases, 4 walks by a hitter, and a loss. And they tied in saves. It's Ari.
He's getting saves. I mean, look, 10 relief appearances for Ari is pretty damn good too.
Well done, Ari. For Costas on his bench this week, he goes 9 for 25. That's a 350 with 3 runs that would have won the category, 3 RBIs, 3 walks, and 6 strikeouts that would have lost him that category. So well done there.
Yep.
Only 4 moves this week for Costas. Chase Lee, a relief win. Alex Call, 1 for 4 with a run and a walk. Ty France, 0 for 4 with a strikeout. And Edgar Caro, 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts.
Yeah, 4 ads and 3 of them were on Sunday.
Yeah. And only one of them really worked.
Yeah. But his offense balled out this week, so pick your favorite.
Yeah. As MVP this week, okay, I'll pick my favorite. It's Yandy Diaz and his mighty biceps. 455 with a 500 on base percentage, 4 runs, a triple, a homer, 5 RBIs, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Love it.
Yeah.
Except it was against us.
Good. Yeah, exactly. It wasn't fun to watch, but good for Costas.
Mm-hmm. The least valuable hitter is Lars Nootbaar, who's off the team.
No longer on the team.
Yeah, he did not record a hit. 0.53 on the on-base percentage with a walk and 10 strikeouts.
Yeah, he was benched over the weekend to kind of clear his head. Ugly. Yeah. He's hitting 226 this year.
Yeah, that's not good. They really they pretty much pushed all in on him when they got rid of Tyler O'Neill.
Mm-hmm. And he's been the leadoff hitter, and if you're hitting 226, you're not a leadoff hitter.
Mm-hmm. The Cy Young this week goes to Clayton Kershaw. 7 innings, a win, a walk, 5 strikeouts, nothing earned in an 0.57. Welcome back, Clayton. Looks like you're going to be just fine.
Yeah, this is the vintage Clayton Kershaw. Like seeing this and seeing, DeGrom throwing his 7 shutout innings, like it just feels like, 2017 or something.
Yeah. Tyler Anderson is the Cy Yuck this week. 5 innings, a loss, 2 homers, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, a 1080 and a 220. Gross.
Yeah,
Gross.
yeah, he's off the team.
Yep. For Ari on his bench this week, he went 23 for 86. It's a 267 batting average with 10 runs, 6 doubles, 10 RBIs that would have won the category. A stolen base, 5 walks, 30 strikeouts, and 2 errors.
I wonder if also the average would have been in play here. He lost it by 2 ticks.
Oh, yeah, get 1 or 2 of those hits in.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, with 86 at bats, one of those has got to have to work.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Maybe it was Gunner when he benched him again on Wednesday. I don't know. He didn't make an ad. He didn't make a drop. So we move on to his MVP. That's going to be TJ Friedel. The hell is this guy? Oh, there he is. 261 with a 414 on base percentage, 6 runs, 3 homers, 3 RBIs, 6 walks, and 4 strikeouts. I couldn't find him because the bench is so large.
Yeah, it's a very big bench.
It's a very big bench.
All the way across.
Yeah. The least valuable hitter is going to be Rhys Hoskins, 111 with a 158, 2 runs, a homer, an RBI, and 7 strikeouts. I could see the Brewers trading this guy at the deadline.
Yeah, they just picked up Andrew Vaughn in that trade with
Mhm.
the White Sox, so like maybe that's the guy to become the first baseman of the Brewers, and yeah, get rid of Hoskins.
Yeah, he's a free agent at the end of the year. So if the Brewers aren't in it, if they feel like they're not in it, this could be a piece that they move in order to get fresh.
Even if they are in it, I think because I think Vaughn has enough potential where like you can move off Hoskins and give the job to Andrew Vaughn. You have Jake Bowers there too.
Mhm.
Like I think they could still move him even if they're kind of in the playoffs hunt and find a bullpen arm or something.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see if he actually does get moved. It'll be interesting. Dylan Cease is going to be the Cy Young this week. 7 innings, a win, 5 walks, 11 strikeouts, nothing earned, and a 1.14. He's still
Against the
got his
Dodgers.
walk. He's still got his walk problem, but he did shut down the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Yamamoto is going to be the least as the Cy Yuck this week. 4 2/3, a loss, 2 homers, 5 walks, 4 strikeouts, a 964 and a 236. Probably just a blip on the radar.
Yeah, I mean, he had a clunker against the Yankees too a couple starts ago, but like, okay, it's the Yankees. Other than that, he's been pretty strong the whole year, so I don't think you're worried too much.
No, I think he's a must start every time out, even if he is facing the Padres next time out.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's a safe bet.
Yeah. As for Costas this season, his schedule is going to go thusly as soon as I pull it up. He's got Jimmy this week, and then Levy, Cody, and Ben. It's going to start to get difficult for him.
Yeah, he's got to keep pushing these next few weeks before because he's gonna get into that teeth very soon. So he's got to keep pushing up here. He got right this week against Ari. He had to get this win and he got it, but he's got to keep it going.
Mm-hmm. Keep it going. He's lost 4 of his last 5, and that one that he didn't lose was a tie to Mike Haber. We got to see him put it in gear again and get moving.
Yeah, yeah. Otherwise, it's gonna be a rough summer.
Yeah. All right, we move on to Jimmy versus Frank Bucco, and this one might be my upset of the week. There were a couple of them that were pretty exciting and surprising, but this one,
Talk about putting it into gear.
yes,
Frank is putting it into gear.
yes, yes, he certainly has. He blew out somebody last week. He blew out Jimmy this week. He answered the bell when we were saying, he might be in trouble here. He's
Yeah,
no longer in trouble. He's at 500 in
yeah,
2 weeks.
yeah. I mean, all of a sudden he's nipping at my heels, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and we're both kind of in this fight right in there in the Bob spot there.
Yeah. On Sunday, it was absolutely insane. It was 12-9 going in and 15-5 coming out. Frank flipped like everything.
He really did. Like the math just didn't work for me.
Yeah. So we'll just say congratulations, Frank. You had a monster Sunday and move on.
Yeah, yeah. It was absolutely incredible.
Yep. Close categories this week. Frank wins by 2 triples, 3 homers, 2 RBIs, 4 strikeouts, an error, 2 wins, 2 home runs by a pitcher, 4 ticks on the whip, and 4 relief appearances. That's 9 close categories, sir. Very well done.
Beautiful.
Yep. Jimmy wins by a walk, a third of an inning pitched, a loss, and 3 ticks on the ERA. Those are very gettable categories.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
At least 3 of them. The loss might be difficult.
And like, I mean, neither one of them pitched very well. They both pitched to a +5 ERA,
Mm-hmm.
but how close was that?
Yeah. They did tie in doubles. For Frank on his bench this week, he goes a perfect 11 for 44. That's a 250 with 4 runs, 2 doubles that would have won the category, a triple, 7 RBIs, and 10 strikeouts that would have lost him the category. One of the doubles came on Sunday. I believe that was Jung Hoo Lee who doubled and tripled in the game. Was that it?
Yeah, yep. Um, yeah. No, he only had the triple on Sunday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, no, he didn't get a double this week. When was
No.
that? It was
He definitely benched a triple on
oh
Sunday.
yeah, it was Xander Bogaerts. There it is. Yeah, Xander
Bogarts with the
Bogaerts with the
double.
double. Yep,
Yeah.
yep,
So, okay.
yeah,
Again, you have somebody on your bench that you're rotating in every once in a while. You're going to miss one. It happens.
yeah. And like you would put him in for like Ernie Clement, but he went 3 for 4.
Yeah.
Labor Torres went 3 for 4 with a double. So like yeah,
Yeah, he played it right. He had a monster Sunday and he won 15-5.
yeah.
Good job, Frank.
Yeah. There's nothing really here to nitpick.
Nope. He used 9 ads this week. Kobe Allard for a bad relief appearance. Justin Wilson, Eric Lauer for a good start against the St. Louis, 4 1/3 with a no decision. He added cousin Aaron Ashby, 3 innings save and a relief appearance. Caleb Ferguson for a terrible relief appearance. Chris Flexen for a relief win on Sunday. Ernie Clement, 2 for 4 with a run and a double. Emerson Hancock, 7-inning win, nothing earned against Cleveland. And Grant Holmes, tough luck, 6 1/3 loss with 15 strikeouts against Colorado.
And then they ended up losing that game 10-1.
Yeah.
And Holmes only gave up 2 runs and struck out 15. That's pretty bad.
Yeah. His MVP this week is anyone except
Yeah.
Xander Bogaerts, who's the least valuable hitter. So,
I mean,
yeah, look, Ian Happ had 3 homers. Ernie Clement hit 625. JT Realmuto hit 409. This team clobbered the ball.
yeah, it was just absolutely unstoppable. I mean, Xander Bogaerts, like, he was good on the bench. So, like, even he was good, just not when he started.
Yeah.
John Hooley had him 2 triples. Like, yeah,
Zach
everybody.
McKinstry had 2 triples. Zach McKinstry is a real player this year. He really is. Like I know it sounds like I'm being sarcastic, but he
No,
really
he is.
is.
He's having a great year, and he's 5 position eligible.
Mm-hmm. He's absolutely rosterable. 272 average, 7 steals. I mean, he's absolutely worth a bench spot on a team that you rotate in and out. I don't blame Frank for owning him. His Cy Young this week goes to Grant Holmes and Zach Wheeler. Zach Wheeler, 12 innings, a win, a homer, a walk, 16 strikeouts, a 150, and an 067. Grant Holmes, we talked about. The Cy Yuck goes to Justin Topa, who's probably off the team, I would assume.
He is.
Yeah, inning and a third, a 20-25, and a 3 across a relief appearance.
So Frank had he had 5 losses. They came from like David Bednar had got a loss in extra innings. This is on Sunday. He had 3 losses on Sunday. David Bednar in extra innings, so there was no earned run there. Grant Holmes got him a loss in that dominant start, and then Kevin Gausman got him a loss. But like all these losses are, like bullshit losses.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Kevin Gossman's loss is what it is. Like,
Yeah. But
mm,
like, yeah, it sucks.
if he
But
got 3 losses on Sunday, then he was up 2 losses going in.
yeah,
You got to feel comfortable.
right, exactly. Yes.
Mm, that's
Crazy.
rough. That's rough. For Jimmy on his bench this week, he goes 10 for 48. That's a 208 batting average with a run, 2 doubles that would have won the category, 2 homers, 9 RBIs that would have won the category, 9 walks, and 14 strikeouts. He used 10 ads this week. Jose Buto for a clean relief appearance, Gregory Soto clean relief appearance, Jackson Kawar was a waste, Brad Lord for a 2 inning relief appearance, Edward Cabrera for 3 inning no decision against Washington, DJ LeMahieu 1 for 4, Michael Soroka, who took the loss in New York against our Mets. What have we told you?
Don't do it.
Shame on you. Shame. Marcelo Mayer, Brandon Walter for a good start against Minnesota, but a no decision, and Wandy Peralta, who did not pitch. His MVP this week goes to Riley Green. 261 with a 370 on base percentage, 3 runs, 3 doubles, a homer, 5 RBIs, 4 walks, and 7 strikeouts. The least valuable hitter goes to Dansby Swanson. 125 average and on base with an RBI and 6 strikeouts. The Cy Young goes to Brandon Walter, whom we talked about. And the Cy Young goes to Chris Paddock. Where is Chris Paddock and how bad was it this time? 4 innings, a loss, a homer, a walk, a strikeout, 18 and a 325. Yeah, he was bad.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
8 earned in 4 innings.
And this is part of that twins rotation that like is kind of being held together by Scotch tape.
Mm-hmm. And he really needs to put it in gear too. I mean, he is a veteran presence on this rotation, and with Pablo down, he could really do something here. But his next start's in Great American Small Park. I don't know if I'd throw him.
Yeah, he had a nice start in Seattle a couple weeks ago, but otherwise he's just been okay, but definitely not trustworthy.
Mm-hmm. For Frank, like we said, he needed to put it in gear. He did. He's 30-10 in his last 2 weeks, 15-5, 15-5. Really solid wins here. He's got Cody, myself, Adam, and then Henry. So it's a part of the schedule he needs to do well in, but he's at 500. So, like, just stay around there for a little bit and it'll get easier.
Yeah, yeah, because like he's got the Sherman, then me, then Ari and Levy. Like he's got that clump coming up later on in the season, so there's room there.
Mm-hmm. And as for Jimmy, now he's the one who's really in trouble.
It's funny how like Frank and then Costas and now Jimmy have fallen into that like troubled waters
Mm-hmm.
area of the standings, and now it's like rotating. Now Jimmy's in it.
Yeah. Jimmy's lost his last 3 and 5 of his last 7. So he really needs to get it in gear. He's got Costas, Cody, myself, and then Adam. So he's kind of following Frank on this schedule. So
Yeah,
if he does well through it, he can get his way out of here. But he's sitting 16 under 500. He's really got to do some work.
yeah. He's basically right now like basically 10, 15 games out of a playoff spot right now. So it's gonna take some work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, let's move on to the final matchup this week, and it's going to be Brian Lebo taking on Adam Lowenstein. Adam gets himself a nice 12-6 win here to get himself right, and Lebo is starting to see himself fall into deep waters as well. He falls 8
Yeah,
on
this was one that I think Lebo really needed to have.
Mm-hmm. And Adam, after that really bad start, gets himself right around 500. He's at 104 and 105.
Yeah, right there in 10th place, right there with
Yep.
Sherman and me and Frank. Like he's in this fight.
Mm-hmm. On Sunday, Lebo untied saves, so it was 12-5 going in, 12-6 coming out. It was all Adam Lowenstein this week. Lebo wins by the save. Adam wins by 3 doubles, 2 wins, and 5 walks given up by a pitcher. They tied in triples, errors, and home runs by a pitcher. For Adam on his bench this week, he goes 6 for 21. That's a 286 batting average with 2 runs, a double, 2 homers, 5 RBIs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, and an error that would have lost him the category. So good job keeping that out of your lineup. He used 6 ads. Mike Burrows for an okay start, 2 earned runs over 4 and a third against Miami. Miles Michaelis for a 5-inning loss that was bad against Toronto. Ivan Herrera off of waivers, 0 for 3 with a walk and 2 strikeouts. Wasn't that a guy you traded for?
It was, and I made the decision to cut him loose. He was on fire, and then he kind of just stopped hitting for a bit. And he's been all right. He had a home run yesterday, but he's just kind of been eh. I have Wilson Contreras. You know what? I had too many Cardinals at the end of the day, and I had to
Okay.
shed some. So
All right, I get it. Bailey Falter for a good start in Miami. Brandon Eisert for a very unclean relief appearance. And Anthony Bonda for a clean relief appearance. The MVP this week goes to Ellie De La Cruz. We haven't talked about him much this year, but this week we do. 462 with a 500 on base percentage, 8 runs, 2 doubles, 4 homers, 7 RBIs, a steal, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, and an error on the season. The 4th overall guy to go off our board has 20 steals, 16 homers, 50 ribbies, 57 runs scored, and is hitting 273. Is he justified?
as 4th overall, it's gonna be tough. Look, this line is an Ellie De La Cruz week, right? You have the error, you have 4 strikeouts, but like the rest of it is incredible. Um, I would not take him 4th overall.
Okay.
I don't even know if I would take him in the 1st round.
I mean, he's on pace for a 30-40 season. Like, easy.
Yeah,
Easy 30 homers, 40 steals.
but like the strikeouts and the errors just absolutely kill me. And I remember I'm already dying in strikeouts. So like if I had this guy on my team, I forget it. I would just it wouldn't matter anymore, I guess.
He's got 81 strikeouts and 275 at bats and 11 errors this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've played 11 weeks. Do the math. The least valuable hitter this week goes to Junior Caminero. 087 with a 276 on base, 5 runs, 2 homers, 5 RBIs, 6 walks, and 2 strikeouts. I probably guess he only had 2 or 3 hits this week, but they were homers.
Yeah, I mean, like it's really weird week, right? It's under 100, but 2 home runs, 5 runs, and 5 RBIs is nice.
Yeah. Yusei Kikuchi is the Cy Young. 13 innings, a win, a loss, a homer, 3 walks, 15 strikeouts, a 208, and an 085. If the Angels are going to go anywhere, this guy's really got to be good. And so far this season, he's been up to the task. He's got an ERA just north of 3.
Yeah. We were, at the beginning of the season, we were saying this guy, but I mean, he only has 2 wins, but that's probably more because of the Angels than him.
Yeah. Bailey Ober is the Cy Yuck this week. 4 2/3, a loss, 4 homers, 6 walks, 3 strikeouts, a 1350 and a 257. Another guy who needs to step up in this Twins rotation, and I don't think he's going to be up to the task.
No, only 57 strikeouts in 73 innings with a 4.40 ERA.
Yeah, that's not going to cut it. That's just not going to cut it. For Lebo on his bench this week, he goes 8 for 41. That's a 195 batting average with 3 runs, a double, a homer, 3 RBIs, a stolen base, 2 walks, and 5 strikeouts. None of it plays?
None of it plays.
All right. 10 ads this week from Lebo. Tim Herron for a loss in relief on Friday. Patrick Corbin for a 5-inning win against Minnesota. Ryan Brazier for a clean relief appearance. Ryan McMahon 0 for 3 with a run, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Eric Fetty for a 5 1/3 loss against Milwaukee. Andre Palante 4 1/3 no decision and 3 earned runs against Milwaukee. Christian Campbell, which was a waste. Aaron Savale, who went 5 innings in a loss against Texas. Miles Michaelis again, 6 innings, 2 earned runs against Milwaukee, and finished it off with Scott Efros, who did not play. He targeted this Milwaukee series hard.
Well, he is a Cardinals fan, and it kind of showed here.
Yeah. And he got a loss, a no decision, and a loss.
Yeah, with what 12 19 strikeouts out of it.
Okay. Hey, I'll take that.
Yeah.
The MVP this week goes to Fernando Tatis Jr. 476 with a 593 on base, 9 runs, 3 doubles, 3 RBIs, 3 stolen bases, 5 walks, and 3 strikeouts. The least valuable hitter goes to Mason Wynn. 167 average and on base, 3 runs, and 2 strikeouts. The Cy Young goes to Hunter Brown. Where is he on this list here? There he is. 7 innings, a homer, a walk, 12 strikeouts, 257 and an 057. And the Cy Young goes to Bailey Over, whom we talked about.
It goes to Sonny Gray.
It was Sonny Gray.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
worse.
But Brown and Gray. Sonny Gray was terrible.
4 1/3, a loss, a homer, a walk, 4 strikeouts, a 1246 and a 208. Yep. He was bad too. Cole Sands was bad in relief. Tim Herron was bad in relief.
More Cardinals.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe it's time to stop doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. Go Cardinals, but maybe not.
Maybe not. Maybe not. I mean, Lebo is hovering right around this 500 range over the last few weeks. He's took a big loss here, but prior to that, a 9-9 tie with Cody, an 11-9 win over me, and an 11-9 loss to Jimmy. So, like, he was just sort of hovering around there, and then boom, takes this loss. He can get himself righted again. Just unfortunate that it comes at a time where guys behind you get big wins, like Frank and you and
yeah. I mean, he's got the schedule, so he's got Henry now, and then it's Sherman, me, Ari, and Levy. So like, this is the time to try and get yourself right, because then the teeth is coming.
Yeah. And as for Adam, who's 1 game under 500 at this point after losing the first 4 weeks, he has only lost once since. And then it's an 11-10 loss to Bobby last week.
Yeah, he went from losing 4 in a row to winning 4 in a row.
Exactly. He's gotten himself righted. Now, he's also in this gauntlet. He's got the Habers right now, and then Frank, Jimmy, Cody, and myself.
Yeah. So this is the make or break for Adam. He's got to come out of this with something.
No doubt. No doubt. After all of this, Jason, who's your manager of the week?
Jeez. I guess Frank is the obvious one, I guess, right? But I have to give a shout out to Josh for taking down you in a dogfight, a real good battle between you and Josh. Ben had a really good week. I'm gonna go Josh here.
I'm gonna go Ben Nisman for his seventh undefeated week. He did have a tie in there, but 6 wins and a tie over your last 7 gives you a real run at this thing. And I am concerned that he may run away with this thing.
Or maybe, all good things come to an end like this week.
Maybe. Let's hope for that. I mean, everybody behind him is hoping for that. We're all rooting for you, Jason. We'll see what happens. No pressure. None whatsoever. Thanks for being here this week, man. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. It's always a pleasure and a joy. And we're creeping up against the All-Star break here. Like, we're already at, midway part of the week of the season. It's absolutely incredible.
Yeah. The trade deadline is coming. That is July 31st for everybody who is not informed. Thank you guys all so much for watching and listening. And until next time, guys, it's been real. It's been fun. It is always real fun in the bigs. We'll see you next time.